Good evening everyone and welcome to the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. I am your host with the most, Malk. Tonight, as usual, I have got the legendary Tim. How you doing, mate? You alright?
How you doing, Malk? It's good to have you here.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We're at the glorious race of the Brazilian track. I'm just watching Brixie do his qualifying lap. I'll go through a proper qualifying lap in a minute, but it looks like he's doing his lapping now. But how you doing, mate?
Oh, I'm just sitting here hanging out. You know, I was filling in for you for a different league commentating yesterday, so I'm already kind of, I've got some practice in already this week, so I'm just ready to kind of knock this out of the park here, and I'm just excited to see what's going on. And already I'm noticing that there's some drivers that already they're in different cars, like Scopefielder is in the Alfa Romeo, Luke Bailey in the Ferrari. Usually I see him in the Mercedes, so already there's a lot of drivers that have had a different car choice here today, has been assigned to different cars, so it's going to be a little bit tricky for me to remember just who is in what car for the first few moments, but it's going to be very interesting here.
Yeah, absolutely. But you never know what to expect with the cars and the drivers after what happened last week with the frantic battle at the Japanese Grand Prix. But bear that in mind, just see what Brixie can do on his first proper lap. To the time to beat is a 1:11.1. Now, with Brazil, it's definitely 109.3 from Ferocious Dan. Brilliant stuff. Sorry, the tyre wear around here, I think you probably have to start on the softs if you can get onto the mediums. Oh, brilliant stuff from Luke Bailey. Tim will be thinking I'm saying something and he'll be like, oh, brilliant stuff, absolutely brilliant from the timings coming. But like I said, it's the tyre wear. If you start on the softs, you've got a good chance of doing softs hards, possibly, but it just depends on if you can manage those tyre wear. It's not one of those tracks where they lose so much tyre deg like what you see at Chinese or other tracks where they've ripped the tyre wear so much. But looking through the times there, Tim, is there anyone that you reckon that could do well tonight there with some of the drivers tonight?
Well, Luke Bailey, I'm watching him right now, and right now he has the provisional pole. The fact that he moved from the Mercedes to the Ferrari shows that he is starting to gain speed and he's getting faster. So, I'm not saying that maybe he'll knock it out of the park here tonight, but each and every week, I always say Luke Bailey, because I've seen an enormous amount of improvement with him. So I'm going to keep my eye on him, not only in this race, but in the entire season. But you are right, Malk. It does seem like a lot of the drivers right now are electing to take the softs. It looks like Sir Spud and O. Stevens have decided to qualify on the mediums and the hards, respectively, along with Sab. But everyone else is electing to take the soft tires. So, really, I'm not sure how much of an advantage trying to reverse strategy would do for you if everybody else is on the same strategy,
Yeah, it just depends on what they can do here, because O. Stevens on the Mercedes is on the 110.2, just gone past now. So at the moment there, O. Stevens just gone past with a 110.2 and the 9th place. So Spud is done a 110.4 on the mediums. Saab's done a 111 flat on the hard tyres. Now, comparing to the time that Luke Bailey's done, softs should hit the 108. I reckon the softs would hit the 108. Unless you prove me wrong, I reckon they'll hit the 108. And then the mediums to hit the 109s, and also the hard tyres with 110, sorry. You were about to say something there, Tim.
Well, don't forget, though, Scopefielder. He is not yet qualified, and, he is a driver that just shows up each and every week and always has speed, no matter what he's running. He's won races in the Williams. He's in the Alfa Romeo today, a little bit faster car, so really we need to look out for Scopefielder as well, and he's a good driver to sort of base off of, what the tires can do and what times tires are capable of, because, Luke Bailey, he's looking pretty fast right now, but, Scopefielder, our points leader, without him qualifying, without him kind of showing, giving us a good rundown, then we're just going to have to see. Because I'm not trying to take away from any other driver. It's just that, if I'm being honest, Scopefielder is one of the fastest ones in the field right now.
Oh, absolutely. But also, you got to bear in mind, look at Mr. Sky C. He's in 4th place at the minute with 109.4, at 100th off Mr. P's time with a 109.483 seconds. That's a good time from Mr. P, Ferocious Dan as well, Luke Bailey. But like you said, you are definitely right there, Tim. With the scope filter, you need to make sure you get... He's one of those drivers who can put a lot of pressure, and he's really, really up for this championship battle against Mr. Sky Z this season. And then also, don't forget, also, Ton Avalanche as well, who was, the first few races, he was the leader of the Drivers' Championship. So he could be one to watch as well, and he hasn't done. He's moved up to 7th place now, Ton Avalanche. But I'm still watching Schofielder now, doing his lapping now. He's coming up to the final corner now. Might do 109s. Oh yes! What a lap there from Schofielder! Brilliant stuff, absolutely brilliant! What a lap! You was right to watch him. And I just did. He went on to pole position, Tim. What do you think of that?
Well, I actually wasn't watching him. I did not realize that he had decided to go ahead and take his outlap. I wasn't paying attention there, but definitely not surprising. And, you know, he's not very far off from Luke Bailey's time, so we're going to have a very good battle, I think, between these two drivers here. And, you know, Ferocious Dan sitting there in the 3rd position. Really, the entire top 5, their times are very, very close. And I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely so. Good evening to everyone that's joined the session. 7 viewers so far in the session as well. Energy Dan has retired from the session. He's made a mistake. Oh, he's crashed. He has crashed. Now, Tim, you won't remember this, but back in the old days, a few seasons ago, Colin J, he used to drive in the Performance Leagues, Colin J and Sir Spud were battling out for the F3 title, and at the crash where the yellow flags are stated now, we've got yellow flag set as 1 already, but Energy Dan crashed when Colin J crashed at the same point where Energy Dan is now to battle out for the Drivers' Championship on his first ever season. I know Colin J did not want me to say that loads of times, but I'll tell you that now. Energy Dan will need to think about what to do next. I'm still watching Mr. Sky C. Oh, he moves up to 3rd. He moves up to 3rd, Mr. Sky C. Stephen. Was that Stephen? No.
Yeah, I'm actually currently watching Stephen. What's going on, Matt?
Sorry, I do apologise. Someone did move up. I think that might be Sir Spud, who just got crossed over the line. He moved up to 93 or 109.7. Carry on, Tim, sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just watching Stephen here, and I have been for, I don't know, maybe the past half lap or so, and I'm noticing that he's on the hard tires, and, well, he's slowing down right now for some reason, but he's on the hard tires, and he's got 5 laps on those tires. I truly think that he's just out there for practice laps at the moment, and then maybe here soon we'll see him hit for the soft tires and see what he can really do. But at the moment, it just looks like he's out there for practice, which, you know, honestly, considering we have an 18-minute session, that's a very smart thing to do. So I'm just kind of watching him and seeing what's going on here. And despite being on the hard tires, he's still in the 109 brackets. Like, almost everybody is within the 109 bracket. So that means that everyone here almost is within a second of each other as far as pace. And that is just impressive to me. 15 drivers all within a second.
That is fair play. I tell you what, look at that. Look at all the timings now. Stephen is the one to watch because he's hit the 109.9s on the hard tyres. Even though he's got 4 laps on the hards, even though he's not in the top 10. But if he starts on the hards, I would not be surprised if he starts on the hards and then probably go into mediums or softs. Now, if I remembered it right, back in the day, I think it usually is a 2-stop. Now, I said earlier it could have been a 1-stop race. But it just depends on how the guys can capitalise on it. We've got another yellow flag set to 2 at the minute.
That is also for Stephen.
Oh, he was trying to get back into the pits, I think, probably. We've got one of the Ferrari drivers going the back from... first, I've just watched Ferrari down. I don't think he's just come out of the pits. Maybe Luke Bailey. Yeah, it's Luke Bailey who's just come out. Schofield is out for another lap in at the minute. So... for us at the moment in the lead, Schofield is in the lead with first place. You've got Luke Bailey, you've got yellow flag sectors 2 and 3. Luke Bailey is in 2nd place, Mr. P in 3rd place, Mr. Sky C in 4th place. You've got Fresh Stan in 5th, Tom in 6th place. Sheepy, I forgot to say Sheepy, on his return back into the Invictus Race League. So it's a great honour to see him back Racing. Again, I've known Sheepy for many, many years, Tim, and he's one of the best drivers, respectful drivers that I've known for many years. I'm hoping he'll bring back with a great bounce back ability, shall we say, into the racing stuff tonight. Good evening to everyone that's joined the session, from 12 viewers already on my channel. I've been told it's a dry race here. What do you think, Tim? Do you think there should have been a bit of a wet race tonight? Would you have liked to have seen it?
Well, yesterday's race that I commentated, which again, that was not for Invictus, but I commentated a race yesterday and it was wet, and surprisingly enough, it did not bring as much excitement as maybe I had thought. It definitely put a spanner in things, and it really brought strategy into play. But as far as the excitement that we saw in the real F1 at the German Grand Prix, it didn't really have that level of excitement. So truth be told, I honestly think that dry races are the way to go.
Fair.
At least if you're looking for entertainment.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You need to think, not only for us, the commentators, you've got to make sure the viewers are on the edge of their seat thinking, what's going to happen here tonight? Will there be will there be an... Oh! While we was discussing about that, Tim, Scopefielder has gone even quicker with 108.8. He's in the 108. Luke Bailey's to the 108. Oh my God, 300ths of a second from Scopefielder's time. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. Absolutely unbelievable.
That is a very close time, and that is just impressive. And really, Luke Bailey, he is showing his muscle here today in qualifying, and I really hope, that he can carry on this momentum into the race, just because, we've seen it so many times. Drivers have such a standout performance in qualifying, but then they just drop back there in the race and can't recover. So I'm really hoping that Luke Bailey can carry on his momentum. Yeah,
we hope that he'll keep it going, because he's been improving this season, not only in the Performance League, but also in the F3 League as well. So I think a bit of a confidence boost. I know it's like dropping down from F2 to F3. We just have to wait and see what would happen on here. We've got all yellow flags in sectors 1, 2 and 3. Mr. P cannot improve his time at the moment. He's slowing down. Mr. Sky C did a 109.1. I think Mr. P will have to go back into the pits. SJD is retired from the session, so something must happen there from SJD. Ton Avalanche is retired from the session. Again, yellow flags on sector 1. Good evening to Mighty Fandango. How you doing, mate? You alright? I hope you're okay and well. This is an interesting stuff. Ferocious Dad is retired from the Oh, Tim, it's raining. It's pouring.
Oh my! And I just noticed that as you were mentioning it, and that is going to put a spanner in things. Mr. Sky Z, I'm currently on board with him, and the rain is just falling. It's not too heavy at the moment where he is on the track, but it looks like it's starting to pick up, and maybe he'll be able to complete this lap. But honestly, I think it'd benefit him more to pull into the pits at this point, just because I don't think he's going to get a fast lap here. However, he does still have the ability of DRS, but he did in fact pull into the pit. Mr. Sky Z, currently third on the board with a 109.183, going to pull into the pits, not going to complete this lap, and why would he with the rain the way it is?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen here. Would some of the drivers still just do some practice laps? Saab moved up to 6th place after he was starting right at the back. He's got his lap just at the nick of time with a 109.4. Again, I can't see this is going to be absolutely manic stuff here. I can't see anyone going to try and improve their times here. Unless the rain absolutely stops within the next 2 minutes, which I very much doubt it. But Tom 444 has retired. He got up to 8th place here. So yeah, just interesting stuff to see what he could capitalise on here. Scopefielder has retired from the session. So Scopefielder will be just the pole sitter at the moment here, unless we do something, unless we see anything drastically happen. I doubt it very much, but I can't see any of the drivers improve their times now. Mike has retired from the session. Stephen will go back into the pits. So I think Tim, this is what you see, is what you're going to get in the qualifying. I would have liked to have seen if Mr. Sky C or Frustad or Mr. P or Luke Bailey try and steal Scopefielder's thunder at the pole sitter here, Tim.
Well, to be fair, Luke Bailey is doing a pretty good job, even though he did not get the pole position. Just the fact that he's within 300th of a second of his time shows that he is ready to put the challenge to Scopefielder. And of course, Mr. Sky Z, who always seems to have speed but can rarely seem to get it done as far as a win goes. Of course, no offense to him. He's sitting there in third, so he's also going to be ready to pounce because Mr. Sky Z, he has how many official wins again in the Invictus Racing League?
Only in the Performance League that I've known about the stats. He's only won 2 races. 2 races out of all the last 2 seasons. Or 2 seasons. Well, 3 seasons, sorry, because he won the 2 titles and stuff. So out of the 3 seasons, this including, he's only won 2 races. So it just depends on what he can capitalise on, and the timing will be stopped at the qualifying. So Stephen will probably go back into the pits. Same with Briggsy. But like I said, if Mr. Sky C can try and stop Scopefielder, it's going to be a mammoth task whatever happens here. But Mr. Sky C will not be given up without a fight, to be fair, Tim. I mean, would you reckon Scope or Ton Avalanche or any of the other drivers that you reckon would challenge Mr. Sky C for the Drivers' Championship this season?
Well, Tawny definitely has a lot of speed, and he can definitely put together a winning performance. He can definitely put together a podium performance at the very least. So it's really looking like it's going to be between Scopefielder, Mr. Sky Z, and Ton. It looks like really those are going to be the top 3 in this championship in whatever order.
Yeah, I have to wait and see what happens there tonight. We've got Scopefielder in pole position. We've got Luke Bailey in second, Mr. Sky C in third, Frustan in fourth, Mr. P in fifth, Saab in sixth, Ton Avalanche in seventh, Tom in eighth, Sheepy in ninth, SJD is in 10th, Spud is in 11th, Mike is in 12th, Stevens in 13th, Energy Down 14th, and Briggsy, but not Giggsy, is in 15th place. So, Tim, tell us now. I've put you under a lot of pressure with all the prediction stuff, but tonight, who do you think is going to be in the top 3 after tonight's race?
I think Mr. Sky Z is going to pull off his 3rd career win here tonight.
You reckon?
And I think Scopefielder is only going to finish 3rd at best. I just have that feeling that something weird and unexpected is going to happen, and I think that is it.
Ooh, okay. So you've heard this. It'll be interesting to see what the guys can capitalise on as well. But that is quite interesting stuff from your side there, Tim, because to be fair though, Mr. Sky C, he does well under a lot of pressure. But with Scope leading the pole position, I can't see anyone try and stop him. As you said, it could be down to whoever. It depends on if he makes a massive mistake and Mr. Sky C has a thundering start like he always has for a few times during the starts of the races. But can I just say good evening to Gareth. How you doing, mate? You're right. It says good evening, boys. It's all about if they can stop Scope. He was mega last night. So that's what I've been told from Gareth. I mean, as you said, you think Scope might get third. I think he'll hold on to first. I think Scope. I think Mr. Sky C. Luke Bailey does well in qualifying, and he's done well in the races in the F3 League. It just depends if he can try and be consistent into the Performance Leagues. I can't see Luke Bailey getting to the podium stuff. I hope he proves me wrong, like I do with all the others. I hope they prove me wrong, but I think Luke Bailey will struggle in the podium stuff tonight because you got Ferocious Dan as well, who's quick on this day. You got Mr. P, who's battling out last week as well, and also don't forget Sheepy as well, Tim. Mike, I could pick anyone from here tonight that could win the race tonight, well, or be in the podium stuff at least tonight. But it's very hard. It just depends on if they can try and capitalise on it. But with this, do you think there'll be a shock? Do you think there'll be a mistake, would you say, during the race?
I really can't. I really can't say there, but I think, and going back on what you said about Luke Bailey maybe not being able to make the podium, I think his race is going to. A lot of it is going to be determined on the start, and and not just his race. A few other drivers as well. If not really all of them, because you've seen it time and time again that these races can get spread out, and sometimes, where it's true that a race is not won on the first lap, not even in the first corner. But sometimes if you can get that early track position, it can pay off later on in the race. So I think that some of these guys, to where the times are so close, the start is really going to determine what we're going to see later on.
Yeah, absolutely, Tim, absolutely. I'll tell you what, Gareth, if you're still there, what is your top 3 predictions for tonight, if you're still there watching? If anyone's watching this, who do you think's your top 3 predictions for tonight? Who do you think's going to happen? Do you think Scope will hold on to first? Do you think Mr. Sky C will stop Scope? Or do you think Luke Bailey could pull off a rabbit out of the hat here and might get the win? Or would one of the outsiders here could try and spoil the party here to make the championship even more exciting than ever before? But can I just say, Tim, when I do the streams, I always look at the bottom half, like out of the top 10, to see what strategy they would have gone for. So 2 drivers, O'Stephen and Briggsy, they've gone for the hard tyres, which I kind of expected because they're in the quicker cars. However, Sir Spud is in the medium tyre. Mike and Energy Dan, they've both gone for the soft tyres. So what is your thought of that tyre wear situation, Tim?
Well, if you're in the back of the pack there, I think really the best thing you can do is go on the medium and hards. I'm not sure exactly why Energy Dan has decided to go on. Excuse me, I got the hiccups here. But I don't know why Energy Dan has decided to fit the soft tires. Maybe he feels like he has more speed than what he showed in qualifying, in which case maybe the soft tires are the way to go, because it can really help you gain track position. But also you got to look that there's really only 3 drivers that are not on the soft tires, so that is going to really make it hard for him. But we're just going to find out here in just a moment what's going to happen, because you hear those itchy pedal feet, you hear those engines revving, and you see the red lights. The red lights are in the air, and it is about to be green flag racing for the Invictus Racing League's Performance League, as Scopefielder right now is out to an early lead with a challenge from Luke Bailey, and Luke Bailey on the inside looking for the first position, and now a driver has went wide. I think that is Ton Albadock who has went wide.
Yes, that is correct there. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. There was Ton Avalanche. We've got a couple of 2 in a bed situations here, Tim. We don't know what's going to happen next here. This is absolutely belters on here. Mr. P goes back up to 5th. Saab drops down to 6th place here. Energy Dan, Tom 444 moves up to 7th and 8th respectively here. What's your thoughts so far, Tim?
Well, I'm very impressed by Luke Bailey, who, not only did he get a good start, but he is staying right on Scopefielder's gearbox, and he is just not letting him go. And he's not being aggressive, but he is definitely looking for a hole. He's looking for a gap to take it, and everyone else behind him, they're just having to follow along. Really, right now, it is Scopefielder and Luke Bailey that is just out on a race of their own. Oh,
I've just seen Mr. P's car. Mr. P's car's had damage on his front wing. Same, I'm not sure what exactly happened from his side, but it looked like it was just before the S's. Oh, the 2 in a bed situation between Don 444 and Mr. P. But Mr. P will have to go back into the pits. I'd like to know if there was...
Bailey.
Sorry, carry on.
Luke Bailey. Yes, Luke Bailey running the fastest lap, and he also made a move for Scopefielder. I did not see that coming. I was looking at Mr. P, but Luke Bailey now ahead and in command of this race, half a second now ahead of Scopefielder, and he is just increasing that gap. Scopefielder can do absolutely nothing but watch him drive away. Luke Bailey right now in command of this race, and what a fantastic move that must have been to get by him, and I hate that I missed it.
Oh, we will have a 2 in a bed situation between SJD and Sheepy. 2 in a beds. Oh, up the S's. Oh, brilliant stuff from SJD and Sheepy. Oh, my days. And O'Stephen just gone past Ton Avalanche there. What a move there. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, this is an absolute belter at the back of the grid here. But like I said, as you said, just Luke Bailey, I didn't even know that he moved up to first place after passing Scope Builder. But what a battle here at the back here. Fantastic stuff here. I hope Luke Bailey proves me wrong. I hope he proves me wrong tonight. But like I said, I thought Schofielder might be the one to watch over Mr. Sky C. But looking at it from this point of view, I know they're two different car situations, but I know Scope will not give up and try and win this race tonight. Tim.
Currently on board with Scopefielder, watching him just chase down Luke Bailey, and Luke Bailey is ever so slightly increasing that gap on him. Meanwhile, just behind him is Mr. Sky, who is approximately half a second behind him, maybe just a little bit more, and he is currently under pressure from Ferocious Dan in that Racing Point machine. Ferocious Dan only 0.2 seconds behind Mr. Sky, and he is right up on his bumper, trying very desperately to just put pressure on him, not looking for a gap just yet, but look for him to do that here momentarily, as I think Ferocious Dan is slightly faster than that Williams right now.
Yeah, definitely there. Sorry about that. Pardon me. I was trying to say something quick and it didn't work out well on that one. So, we're just watching Ferocious Dan, as you were saying there, Tim. It's dropping off a little bit back now, but while you're watching that, I'm just trying to see if there's any other action going on. We might have a battle from Mike and Tom 444. Tom 444's got the DRS straight now, trying to close in on Energy Dan, who's in 6th place. Energy Dan moves up from the back all the way up to 6th place. Mike!
He was looking on the inside, now he's going to try to cross over. He's right on the gearbox of that Toro Rosso, but he's not going to be able to make the pass this time around. Good defending from TL44S.
He makes the move! Mike makes the move there! On the DRS straight there, so Mike pulls away from Tom 444. Sheepy drops down. We might have a 2-2 in the bets! We had 2-2 in the bets! From Sheepy O'Steven. Sorry, Sheepy and O'Steven. All a bit of contact there from the Williams of Ton Avalanche and Sheepy, SJD and O'Steven, sorry. I can't stop saying it now. Oh my god, Ton Avalanche might have lost a bit of his front wing damage. Saw a bit of debris there. So he might lose out a little bit. Yes, he has. He's lost a bit of his front wing on the right-hand side on there. So, because of that battle between himself and Sheepy. Manic stuff here, just watching Tom 44 try and get on to Mike now. Mike's pulling away from Tom 44. He really is pulling away so much. But Tim, tell us what you think, what you're watching so far.
Well, I was checking out that damage on Ton Obnot, and you're right, it's the right side wing, it's the it's the in part of on the right side. I forgot just what to call it. It's the inlay, I suppose. And now Briggsy in the Ferrari in 13th. What are you looking at now?
Oh no! No, there's been a crash. There's been a crash between.
Oh my goodness! Everybody, SJD, Energy Dan, Mike, all three of them are out. I just saw a car just completely hit the wall. I cannot look at these drivers now. It won't let me. But that was absolute carnage for the 2 seconds I was able to look at it. And now F1 Mr. P going off and into the wall. He went way off into the track, into the wall. Not sure what is going on here. This is just crazy.
Yeah, I was watching Mike in that battle there. Energy Dan was drifting to the right. Mike had nowhere to go. Energy Dan caught Mike's front wheel, and because of that, Energy Dan lost a bit of his control, hit the wall, and Mike obviously could not go anywhere. He just lost the control of the car, so unfortunately both drivers had to go into the wall based on that. But the way it looked, to see if Energy Dan was, I don't know if he was trying to stop Mike from getting past, but we'll talk about that more from the stewarding point of view here. But Sir Spud trying to get past Brixie here, but Sir Spud has lost out a bit of the time there, so Mr. P had to pit earlier on in the race, so he's dropping off a little bit. But watching for us to stand trying to close in on Mr. Sky C. We might have a 3-car battle here for second place here. Schofield is 1.6 seconds from Luke Bailey. So Luke Bailey's really, he must have heard me saying, right, I'm going to prove you wrong here, Malk, and try and get the win here tonight. But it's like a lottery. Anything could happen here. Anything could happen. Oh, Mr. P has pitted again. But, Tim, what do you think is going to happen here? I mean, with the situation here, we started with 15, now we've got 12 remaining. So that will need to be looked at with
Well, the biggest thing that I'm noticing is Ton Albanach, who had wing damage early on. He is now in a points-paying position, whereas before he wasn't. He was running in the 12th position. Now he's all the way up to 9th. Granted, that's only about 2 to 3 points or so, but he is still in a points-paying position, and it might just keep him in his championship hunt.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm going to try and load up the table in a minute, but like I said, it's going to be a frantic stuff here at the battle, at the glorious race on the Brazilian track itself. Gareth's just saying, shame for Dan and Mike there. A little 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Yeah. The way it looked on my screen, it looked like Dan was pulling to the right. I don't know if because Mike tried to get through the gap and he just caught Energy down the back. Again, I might have said it wrongly, but hopefully that will need to be checked out with the stewards afterwards with that situation. Unless if it doesn't go through, we'll have to wait and see on that situation there. But like I said here, we've got a 3-car battle here. We've got a couple of battles going on here, Tim. We've got the top, second, third and fourth, which I'm just watching now. You got O'Steve and Sheepy, 7th and 8th, respectively. And also you've got Ton Avalanche, Brixie and Sir Spud for the 3-car battle here. So what's going to happen here? We're on a lap 8. There's about 28 laps left. Could we see some more shocks along the way here, Tim?
Perhaps. Truth be told, I think that Luke Bailey just about has a handle on this race. I'm not saying right now that he's going to win, but I think he is definitely heading for a good finish. Meanwhile, though, I'm watching Sheepy, who is trying to close the gap on O'Steven, who at the same time is trying to close the gap on TL444S.
Oh, watching Briggs hit on Avalanche. Oh, no.
Ton spins into the wall, and Ton Albanach's day is done. The left front wheel is off. He just got a little bit of contact with Briggsy there, and he spun into the wall. I switched over to it just as you were talking about it, Matt. What led up to that? What led up to that development?
It was the two were having a ding-dong battle after the down the hill part, which is the first DRS straight. They were having a ding-dong battle. I think Ton Avalanche is not happy with that, and he has left the session there. But watching it, from my point of view, Ton Avalanche, I think Briggsy was just got off track, unless I'm mistaken. He looked like he was gone off track, Briggsy, and he's trying to get back on. And as you said, there was a bit of contact. Ton Avalanche hit the wheels of Briggsy, and because of that, I mean, I could be wrong, sorry, I may have said it wrong, but well, Stephen moves up to 6th, Tom 444 has dropped down to 7th now, but looking at it, Ton Avalanche must have hit
Meanwhile, Ferocious Dan just made a move on Mr. Sky. Ferocious Dan now in the 3rd position. Mr. Sky having to go back on the offensive to try to chase him back down.
Yeah, but still watching this. While you're watching that, we've got a 3-car battle here for O'Steven, Tom 44 and Sheepy for 6th, 7th and 8th respectively here. While you're watching, keep up to date with the Mr. Sky C Ferocious Dan battle, because this is an absolute belter here from the 6th, 7th and 8th positions here, Tim.
Yep, currently watching and riding on board with Mr. Sky, who got a huge run when was about to try to make a move on Ferocious Dan, but just did not have the proper line through the corner. They're about to go down the front stretch, that very, very long straightaway, and Mr. Sky Z will almost undoubtedly have DRS here, and he might just be able to use that to get by Ferocious Dan, but I know that Racing Point machine is going to expect that. They're now storming by the pit entrance and across the line. It is now lap 10 of 36, and going into turn 1, there is, in fact, no move for position this time around. Mr. Sky Z having to just fall in line and follow Ferocious Dan. Yeah, absolutely, Stuff, absolutely. But like I said here, this is an absolute belter here. We're still watching the battle here between O'Steven, Tom 44 and Sheep. Actually, Sheep is more closer to Tom 44 than Tom 44 is to O'Steven now, but O'Steven's trying to close in on Sab here. Sab's done a really good job here to move up to 5th place. Just looking at the stops, so Mr. P, the only one has done 2 stops. Everyone else has not done a stop yet. Can Sheepy have a chance here? Briggs is the only... I'm watching.
Sorry,
the same battle you are on board with Sheepy. He is definitely trying on that Toro Rosso. Not going to make it move here this time around. But I think he's going to wait for that very long straightaway. The final stretches. Now it looks like Mr. Sky Z got by Ferocious Dan. Yet again, this is just going to be a back-and-forth battle between these two.
I'm going to watch this battle here. Can Ferocious Dan try and get past Mr. Sky Z again, or will Mr. Sky Z go into the pits? No! Side by side. Gonna have a side by side moment here. Can they hold on? No, Mr. Scotty drops down to 4th. Ferocious Dan will be a sitting duck again. Bear in mind though, this is going to be a belter. Can Sheepy try to have a chance on Sab now? Oh, no. Sab looked like he hit the back of Tom 404 and lost a bit of his front wing, and he's lost a bit of his car. I was spun as well. I was just as I was watching it as well. Count Tom 404. Try and hold on here for 6th place here. But Sheepy's doing everything possible here to try and get on to the top 6 as quickly as possible here, Tim.
Yep, currently watching Sab as just trying to see what's going on, but now I'm going back to the battle with Sheepy and on board with him now. He is getting very close to TL4 Perez, and meanwhile TL4 Perez getting very close to O Steven 002, and that is actually very surprising considering that TL44 is on old softs versus O Steven being on hold hards. But now it looks like O Steven is starting to pull away a little bit. Meanwhile, TL44S still has his hands full with Sheepy83, and Sheepy83 thought about making a move in the penultimate corner, but did not make it happen. They're now going down the final straightaway, the complete lap 11, and now it looks like Luke Bailey has in fact pitted along with Scopefielder. Scopefielder and Luke Bailey now in the pits. We're going to see just who comes out first.
I think it might be Luke Bailey just coming out. Yeah, Luke Bailey's just coming out first. Ferocious Dan. Oh my God, Will can have a lead. Can Ferocious Dan hold on? Yes, he has. He moves at the first. Can Mr. Scott see? No, he makes the move. They're side by side. Oh, brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant battle in here for the top 2 drivers. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, I am so sorry for the loud speak. Oh, we've got number 2 in the pit. Sheepy and top. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Tim.
You definitely get wild mouth, and I absolutely love it. You love this stuff, and I do too. Sheepy now in the 4th position. Meanwhile, Mr. Sky Z leading this race as of right now. Ferocious Dan in 2nd and dropping back just a little bit. Oh, Steven surprisingly in the 3rd position. There is a McLaren just behind Ferocious Dan. I'm trying to figure out who that is. I think it's Mr. P80, who is just having a tough time here today.
Yeah,
and now Ferocious Dan goes into the pits.
Oh,
along with our leader.
Yeah, the 2 leaders are back into the pits now, so Stephen will be the new leader of the Brazilian Grand Prix for the Performance League. So he's starting on the hard tyres as well as Briggsy. So the 2 drivers who were majority at the back of the grid are now in 1st and 2nd. Mr. P has retired from the session. Mr. P has retired from the session, so he must have been retired in the pits. So I could understand Mr. P's frustration there at the start of the race. Yellow flag sectors 1 and 2. Bear in mind though, we've seen so many yellow flags, but we've not seen any safety cars during the season. I mean, I've seen 1 or 2, but not as much as what we see like the on-track stuff. Have you seen much on the safety cars since the new 2019 game?
Surprisingly, no. I have not seen very many safety cars at all. I have 1 safety car in a career race that I did, but as far as actually in the Invictus Racing League and racing online, I have yet to see a safety car.
Yeah, so I'm hoping, not saying safety car would help, but it kind of would gather all the drivers back in and see what could happen in this race here tonight. But bear in mind, we've got the only battle we've got so far in this race. Oh, Luke Bailey could have a chance on Suspud. Oh, Suspud. Oh, Suspud's teasing us. Oh no! Suspud! Suspud's crashed inside the pits. Oh no!
Oh my goodness! I thought I changed over to Luke Bailey's, and then I saw a bunch of wing debris just flying everywhere in the pits. Didn't understand what happened, and now Sir Spud officially a DNF in this race.
So, Sir Spud. Oh, Sam's still the fastest lap of the race with a 1:11.3. There's been quite a few penalties from some drivers here tonight. Hopefully, I've not kept in check who's been adding it, but it's just insane stuff here. We've got first start Mr. Skycy having a ding-dong battle. This is a battle of the race here so far. But like I said, Stephen Briggsy, they're the 2 that got a pit as well. So they bear in mind there's only like 20 to 25 seconds. So comparing it to the leaderboard, they would drop down to like 7th and 8th respectively. So either way, they're still having a good race, Stephen and Brixie. But Luke Bailey would get back into the position of first after when them two go back in. But as I was saying about Sir Spud was just going into the pits. I don't know if his tyre wear was just completely gone. He was just trying to shoot in as quickly as possible, but he was just absolutely fuming. But Cam Frossenstein! Oh no! Frossenstein goes 3 second time.
3 second time penalty.
Carry on, Tim.
3 second time penalty for Ferocious Stannis. Now he is still fighting back hard against Mr. Sky. Now he's making the move. They are side by side with Little Will. And who will come out? Ferocious Dan clears Mr. Sky with relative ease, now going into that really tight left-hand corner. And Mr. Sky Z back on the offensive and trying very desperately to get by Ferocious Dan. He's decided to fall back in line behind him and follow him and see where he's weak, see where he is not, and try to make another move. Probably going down the final straightaway in that DRS zone is probably going to be his best bet, but he is getting very close to him. These guys are just switching positions back and forth. Very equal drivers here, and it's just amazing to see.
This has been an absolute belt of a race tonight. We had 15 drivers started on lap 15. Well, from the start, we're on lap 15, and unfortunately we got 9 drivers remaining. 9 drivers remaining. If you just joined, ladies and gentlemen, we've had, as you can see, 6 drivers have had the DNFs during the Brazilian Grand Prix. 3 cars was just merged. 2 cars, and then the third car just straight after it was just a manic stuff. Energy Dan says, no way. What's up?
Meanwhile, our battle for what will eventually turn into the lead. Luke Bailey slowly gaining on Brixie 500. Go ahead, Mal.
Yeah, carry on. I was just reading. Energy Dan says, no way. So just have to wait and see what's up with Energy Dan. Situation here.
Luke Bailey chasing that Ferrari of Brixie meanwhile, and it's closed the gap now down to half a second, now to 0.4 seconds. It's bouncing around quite a lot depending on corner entry and exit, but Luke Bailey getting a little loose out of that corner. I thought he was going to lose it, so he lost quite a bit of time there, but he in fact did save it. A nice save from Luke Bailey. Those hard tires just do not have the traction that those soft tires do, and so now he's going to have to adapt.
Yeah, just have to wait and see what happens here, but Brixie on the tyre at the tyre end here. 2 Ferrari drivers.
Now, Luke Bailey has made the move on Brixie and, in fact, has moved into the second place. Relative ease. That was a very easy pass for him.
Yeah, absolutely. But can Mr. Scorsese try and get another attempt on Ferocious Stan in 5th and 6th, respectively here? We have to wait and see what happens here. Energy Dan, if you're there, he's really not happy with on the stuff here tonight. But what's up, Energy Dan, if you're there? No. Carry on, Tim. Sorry. Carry on.
Well, currently just riding on board with Mr. Sky Z here as he is chasing Ferocious Stan, but Ferocious Stan's nameplate is just getting ever so smaller. Ferocious Stan definitely pulling away. Meanwhile, Luke Bailey is in the second position still, with Scope Builder being about 2 seconds behind him. Stephen's still leading this race, 16 laps on those hard tires. He's going to try to stay out just as long as possible. I almost wonder if he's going to try to stay out and then fit on the soft tires. We're going to see just what happens here. And now Sheepy in the 7th position, of course, running all by himself. TL44S trying to chase down Sheepy a little bit, but that is a 1.1 second gap, and Sab 3.9 seconds behind him. That is an update on all 9 drivers currently on the board. Of course, we have those 6 DNFs down there.
You have to wait and see what happens here tonight here, Tim. The only closest battle, well, we've got 2 battles going on. We've got Fresh Stan, Mr. Scorsese, and also we've got Sheepy and Tom 414S as well. Got to really see what
Mr.
happens
Sky, just each and every time he drives it really hard into the corners. Not too hard, mind you, but he just drives it hard into the corners, just trying to gain on Ferocious Stan, but he's just not able to make it work. But this time, he did gain on him quite a little bit. He had a wonderful exit out of that last corner.
Oh, absolutely stuff here. I've just been told with the regarding the penalty situations, we've got Tom for 3 seconds, Ferocious Dan got 3 seconds, and Brixie who's got 3 seconds with a time penalty. So this is as of lap 18 on the halfway marker here, Tim. So at the moment, I'm just going to go back to the leader So Ferocious Dan would drop down to 6 if it stays like this. Mr. Sky would move up to 5th place. Ferocious Dan would drop down. Oh, Scope moves up to 3rd. Oh, he makes the move to Briggsy. Briggsy will need to pit at some point. Would you go for the medium tyre at this situation here, or would you go for the softs to last the whole race? Tim?
Truth be told, I would, where we are right now, I would have to go on mediums. The softs are not going to last 17 laps, and that's just how it is. However, the mediums just might. But really, truth be told, starting on the hards just was not a good strategy, I don't think. And I don't think it's even going to play out for O. Stevens. Of course, if O. Stevens can stay out for a little bit longer and pit and take the soft tires, maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 laps from now at the earliest. But even that, I think, is stretching it, because the soft tires, they just don't last as long. They give you the traction when you need it, but they just don't keep it. And it's just the nature of them. And I really think that starting on the softs here was the way to go. As we can see, the drivers that did start on the softs are the ones that's running up front. Meanwhile, O. Stevens, who started on the hards, and Briggsy, who started on the hards, are struggling. Of course, O. Stevens leading this race right now, but Luke Bailey is just eating away at that gap. It was about 5.1 seconds a couple laps ago. Now it is down to 4.
Oh, sorry, Tim. Mr. Sky moves up to 5th. Ferocious Dan drops down to 6th. So Ferocious Dan will have the second opportunity of the DRS straight here. As going through, he's got a great exit there. So Mr. Sky will be a sitting duck here. Can Mr. Sky? Oh, 2 in a mid. 2 in a mid situation. Can he try and hold on? Oh, he moves up. Mr. Sky holds on, sorry, to 5th place. But Ferocious Dan goes side by side nearly. Oh, this has been a belter. This has been a belter of a race here, Tim. Fantastic.
I love these onboards. They really give you the best view of the battle, you know, especially considering that the cinematic camera is very much hit and miss. So riding on board with Ferocious Dan as he is battling with Mr. Sky, and he is not letting him get away. He is wanting to stay as close to him as possible to try and make that move. These drivers have the exact same amount of laps on their tires. It just depends on who's managed them better. But with the hard tires, we shouldn't see any fall off just yet, only 7 laps in. And so these guys just trying to duke it out here on fairly even cars and fairly even tires. And now Ferocious Dan making a move on Mr. Sky Z using the DRS, and he in fact did clear him going into turn 1 now. Ferocious Dan in the 5th position, Mr. Sky Z back to 6th.
Yeah, but Mr. Sky Z will have the opportunity here to try and close in on the DRS, but won't be much. It just depends on how far he can go. Zone 4 got another 3-second time penalty. Mr. Sky Z did have a 3-second time penalty as well, so Zone 4's got 6 seconds worth of penalties. So he needs to get past Sheepy as quickly as possible here if he wants to stay any chance to try and hold on to at least the top 8 in this race tonight.
Still watching Ferocious Dan, who now seems to have actually pulled away quite a bit from Mr. Sky. That is 0.8 seconds right there. Meanwhile, Briggsy's still running in the 4th position. He has not pitted yet. Neither has O. Stevens. We're going to have to watch them. They're going to have to pit fairly soon. We're going to see just what happens here. I'm very curious to see O. Stevens' strategy especially. But I don't think it's doing him any good staying out. But at the same time, he really doesn't have any other choice. Luke Bailey is closing in on him. 2.6 seconds now is that gap.
Yeah, whatever happens here tonight, whatever happens, Luke Bailey will still get back into the top pole position. And Ferocious Dan, if you can try and get that gap away from Sky C. Oh no, actually, to be fair, Ferocious and Sky C have got the same amount of points, penalties, seconds. So there, whatever happens, Ferocious Dan will be in the 3rd place coming tonight. If it holds on, it depends on if Briggsy. I reckon Briggsy and O'Steven are trying to go for the medium tire to last 12 laps, or try and go even longer. Probably go for the softs, but that's very, very risky. Very, very, very risky. But it just depends on if they want to risk it for a biscuit. Just depends on that situation here. But Tim, what's been your highlight so far this race?
Well, my highlight for sure is just the fact that Luke Bailey started out strong and has showed amazing speed, as now O. Stevens has decided to pit 21 laps on those hard tires. O. Stevens will pit. Here in a moment, we're going to see just what he chooses. But my highlight is the fact that Luke Bailey not only got a good start, but has been able to put his money, well, figuratively speaking, put his money where his mouth is. And, you know, not only say, hey, look, I got a good start, I had a good qualifying run, but also showing some muscle here in the race and now leading this race 2.9 seconds ahead of Scopefielder and holding on to this lead. And ever since he got by Scopefielder, Scopefielder just hasn't been able to get close to him. He hasn't been within striking distance. It's a 3-second gap to Scopefielder, and Scopefielder can see him. Even riding on board with Scopefielder, I can see Luke Bailey in that Ferrari way up ahead of him. But it's just a gap that is not closing by a whole lot each and every lap. Scopefielder might be able to close it a little bit, but it's just not closing a whole lot. So we have approximately 13, 14 laps to go here, and that's enough time for Scopefielder to close that gap if he's fast enough. But I don't know, because these drivers pitted at the same time. The tires are the exact same age, and it all is just going to come down to driver and car performance and handling at this point.
Absolutely, absolute stuff here. But we've got a 3-car battle here at the moment here from Sheepy. Tom 44 and O. Steve, who's just coming out of the pits. Briggs is going to the pits now. So just watching O. Stevens' car now. Can we see a 3 in the bed? Oh my God, can we see a 3? We might see a 3! Come on! Oh no, that would have been a 3 in the bed situation there. Oh, Stephen could have had the opportunity there. I tell you what, please be a 3 in the bed again. Strike 2 here. Can Sheepy have his chance? Tom 44's already defensive here. Oh, Stephen! Oh, what a move! What a move from O. Stephen! Oh! What a move there from O. Stephen! Absolutely belter. Sheepy was holding on to the right. Tom 44 was holding on to the left. And O. Stephen's saying, right, I'm going through the left to right, through the gap. And I tell you what a move there from O. Stephen. Fantastic stuff there. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Tim.
I was watching that battle as well, and that was just an amazing move by O. Stevens, completely threading the needle. He saw a gap, and he took it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meanwhile, Mr. Sky Z in the 4th position, still trying to chase down Ferocious Dan. That is a 0.8-second gap, still not much happening there. Ferocious Dan in the 3rd position, Scopefielder in 2nd, 3.8 seconds now separating him and Luke Bailey.
Oh, Luke Bailey, could he hold on to win the race at the Brazilian Grand Prix, or would Scopefielder try and spoil the party here? But at the moment here, I'm watching Tom 44 and Sheepy having a ding-dong battle here for 6th and 7th respectively, and they're on the same tyre wear as well. So can these two try and, well, to be fair, Tom 44's got 6 seconds worth of penalties as well, but Sheepy will hold on. So at the moment here, Tom 44 would drop down to 8th if it stays like this. I say if it stays like this. I'm not saying it would, but it could happen. Because Tom 44 needs to try and get a 6-second gap from himself and Sheepy to stand any chance of trying to keep hold of his top 6 finish tonight. But Tim, I tell you what, this has been a belter of a race, a fantastic race again from Invictus Racing Leagues. But like I said, lap 26-36. Will we see another shock tonight, Tim?
Truth be told, I think the shock is Luke Bailey running in the 1st position, with O. Stephen now running a 1:11.8. That is the fastest lap of the session. But Luke Bailey definitely running in the 1st position and staying up there. I know I keep going back to him, but it is just a shock to me, because even though I expected him to do well in this race, not even I picked him to win. I even said, I think Mr. Sky Z is going to go out and get his 3rd win of the series. And truth be told, that can still happen. We have 11 laps left to go, but so far, Luke Bailey not only being out front, but putting ground on Scopefielder. 4 seconds now, 3.9 to 4 seconds now separating them. Putting ground on him. That is my surprise for the race, as well as the utter carnage that we saw about 15 laps ago.
Yeah, it was a manic crash as well from a few of the drivers here tonight. It's just manic stuff here. But can I just say, also, it's It's one of those frantic stuff here during the racing at the Brazilian track. But I will say this now, I would watch out for O'Stephen at the minute to get into Mr. Sky C in the next 2 laps. Probably 2 to 3 laps, I think. If he can keep that momentum going off the soft tyres, I reckon he'll get closer and closer to Mr. Sky C for 4th place here. O'Stephen has got no penalties as far as I know. But bear in mind, Mr. Sky C has got a penalty, same with Roshan. So at the moment, if O'Stephen can get within to Mr. Sky C of under 3 seconds, he will move up to 4th. And you can see at the background on my screen, O'Stephen can see a little bit of Mr. Sky C. So I reckon O'Stephen will get into the top 3 if, I say a massive if it's going to be I reckon in the next few laps we'll see a battle from O'Stephen, Mr. Sky C and Froshistan. But Sheep here, top 4 having a ding-dong bell here. Briggs has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings! Tim.
Well, going back on O'Stephen, already the gap is now down to 2.8 seconds. If he is able to catch Mr. Sky Z and then get by Mr. Sky Z fairly quickly, then that is really not a big gap to make up to Ferocious Dan in 3rd there, because right now it is a 1.1 gap separating Ferocious Dan and Mr. Sky Z, which actually kind of surprises me considering the speed that Mr. Sky Z was showing, but I guess his tires are just now starting to fall off, while Ferocious Dan was able to maybe manage his tires a little bit better, or maybe it was just simply luck of the draw. But Mr. Sky Z now looking like he's struggling a little bit. O'Stephen, meanwhile, 2.7 seconds is that gap, and he is just eating away at that. And I think you're right, here in about another 2 laps at this point, he is going to be fairly close to Mr. Sky Z if he keeps up this pace, because it's already down to 2.4 seconds is the gap.
Right, I think also we might have a good ding-dong battle here also with Tom 44, Sheepy and Briggsy for 6, 7 and 8 in a minute. But as you said, O'Stephen pitted on 22 laps of the hard tyre. 22 laps of the hard tyre, but the softs, they managed to try and do 15 laps. So O'Stephen's got a good advantage here because he's in the Mercedes as well. So that car should do well with the tyre wear. But again, it depends on how aggressive could be his driving and stuff. Will it affect his tyre wear if he keeps going? But it could be nerve-wracking stuff here. But Briggsy trying to close it on Sheepy. Sheepy trying to close it on Tom 44. Might see Sheepy thought he might have a chance here. 3-car battle here for 6th place here, Tim. But if you want to try and carry on watching O'Stephen's battle here, to see if you can try and see when the next lap will be. Oh, Sheepy could have a chance on top 4. Oh no! Thought you had the chance there. Briggs is just hold back a little bit here, but Sheepy's right at the back of top 4. O'Stephen. Oh.
O'Stephen, meanwhile, 0.7 seconds behind Mr. Sky Z. I was watching the 3-car battle, and I'm actually going to have to go back to it just for a moment because Sheepy now 0.4 seconds behind TL44S. I thought for a minute he was going to close it. It was 0.2 for a moment, but TL44S got a good exit out of that corner now. O'Stephen's 0.6 seconds behind Mr. Sky Z, and he is going to try to make the move this time. He's going to have the DRS going down this very long straightaway as they pass the line, past the pit entrance first, though. And, of course, in the Mercedes, O'Stevens chasing down that Williams and Mr. Sky Z going into turn 1, and O'Stevens is making a move. He is looking for, they are side by side now in turn 1. A little bit of contact, but nothing dirty, as O'Stevens 002 is going to have to keep the 5th position at least for now. Meanwhile, Ferocious Dan is up there, and he is liking what he sees if he looks behind him.
Oh, tournament situation here between Sheepy and Tom 44. O'Steven moves up to 4th place. Oh, we might have a 3!
Mr. Sky Z trying to do the crossover move.
We've got 3 in the bed! 3 in the bed situation! What a move! Oh no! No, please! Oh, they've done it! Top 4 holds on! Oh my god, this is a brilliant race! Absolutely brilliant! Top 4 is holding on for dear life here, Briggsy! But not that Giggsy! Oh, absolutely insane stuff here! Sorry, Tim. This is an absolute belter of a race. And my voice is gone. Nearly. Oh my god.
Well, going back to O'Stephen now, 1.2 seconds behind Ferocious Dan. Lap 31 up 36, about to be lap 32 for him. Or actually, no, excuse me, about to be lap 31 for him. It is lap 31 of the entire race. Luke Bailey 6 seconds ahead of Schofield, so no battle up there. The battle right now for the last podium spot is between O'Steven and Ferocious Dan, and O'Steven is just absolutely showing his muscle here. He is gaining on Ferocious Dan, but it is now 8 laps on those soft tires, and I think that they're going to start to fall off here very shortly if he hasn't already started to feel the fall off. So this is going to be very close between these two drivers, because I know that O'Steven is going to have to drive very, very hard to even have a chance to get by Ferocious Dan. He is very close, but I just don't know how the tire wear is going to do. Ferocious Dan, though, 16 laps on those tires.
Oh my God. I don't know what to do with those tyre wear situations here, but I'm hoping they'll try and hold on to the last another 5 more laps. I'm sure they'll last another 5 more laps anyway. But I tell you what, if O'Steven can try and mount a good run in here, he could do well here. He could, well, he's guaranteed a podium stuff whatever happens here, unless he makes a massive, massive mistake. But at the moment, because Ferocious Dan's got a 3-second time penalty, Briggsy, Tom 44's got 6 seconds worth of penalties, thanks to Energy Dan, who's keeping me updated with the penalty stuff here on the chat here. But Tom 44 and Briggsy got 6 seconds worth of penalties, so whatever happens here, Sheepy would guarantee to move up to 6th place, regardless of this battle here. I'm not sure if Sheepy knows about the penalty situation, but he's trying his best to try and do it on track. Oh!
O'Steven making a move on Ferocious Dan. They are side by side. O'Steven's had the DRS and he cleared Ferocious Dan. Ferocious Dan now going to try to cross over him. He's going to try to go on the inside of him. He was on the inside of him for just a little bit, but O'Steven on those soft tires is going to pull away. And I don't think Ferocious Dan is going to have anything else for O'Steven. I think he is going to have a podium so long as he keeps it on the track.
Yeah, what a move there from O'Steven, but can Ferocious Dan try and bounce back here? It's going to be very tough for Ferocious Dan, because he's already on 19 laps of the hard tyre. He's got another 4 more laps remaining on this, but I tell you what, O'Steven, 4 laps remaining, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to catch up to Schofield, but if he can try and pull away from Ferocious Dan as quickly as possible, I will not be surprised. His tyre wear should be at he's already at optimum stuff, but can Ferocious Dan might have a chance on O'Steven? Back to 3rd, no. Ferocious Dan dropped.
He got out of it. He checked up when he didn't need to. Go ahead, Mount.
Yeah, you was deadly spot on there, Tim. Carry on, Tim. Tim, carry on.
Well, Ferocious Dan, he definitely checked up in that DRS, and when he didn't need to, had he maybe tried to duck into the inside, he might have been able to outbrake him, but at the same time, it was very close. The more I think about it, the more I think it maybe have been contact. I don't know, but Ferocious Dan maybe not being as aggressive as he needs to be to get this podium position, but he's going to have another shot at it. He's actually staying fairly close to O'Steven, closer than I thought he would on those hard tires. So I think that goes to show that O'Steven's tires are now starting to wear down, and so maybe these tires are about at an even wear now, 10 versus 20 laps. Soft on the 10 and 20 on hard, but Ferocious Dan not going to give up this podium position very easily here, as he is just going to keep following behind O'Stevens until he sees a move to try to make a pass, but I do not think it's going to be able to work. I think those soft tires still have a slight advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just been told O'Steven's got 2 warnings. He hasn't got a penalty yet, but he's got 2 warnings, so he doesn't want to make a 3rd one to have a strike. But Ferocious Dan, Ferocious Dan can have a chance on the tournament. Can he do it?
Around the outside, in the grass a little bit was Ferocious Dan, but he did not make that pass, and I am honestly surprised. I thought for sure he had it.
But Ferocious Dan could have another chance here. Try and close in on O'Steven, at least to try and do another attempt here. It looks like Ferocious Dan's got more downforce for the long straights here, because he's like quick. I know he's on I always think of the Force India. I know they're Racing Point, but I always remember them as the Force India crew anyway, regardless. But I tell you what, good evening to Sir Spud. He says O'Steven for 3rd place. I'm sure Sir Spud will be absolutely livid with the pit entry at Brazil. He does not want to be remembered at Brazil ever again. But like I said, Ferocious Dan could have a battle here with O'Steven for 3rd place. We've still got Tom 44, Briggsy and Sheepy now for the 6th, 7th and 8th respectively here. But whatever happens here, Sheepy will guarantee 6th place. But Briggsy needs to get past Tom 44 if he wants to get into hold on for 7th. whatever happens here. So Spud says down pit wall on that one, but he's absolutely fuming at that one there. But can Sheepy try and close it on Briggsy, but not that Gixie for 7th place here. Chance now. No chance there, but Ferocious Dan closing in on Stephen. Carry on, Tim.
Riding on board now with Ferocious Dan in the Racing Point machine, and he is trying very, very hard to get that position back from Steven. This is lap 35 of 36. He has only 2 laps to do it right now, and he is trying very, very desperately. Those hard tires versus the soft tires. We're going to see just what happens here. Ferocious Dan can get close. He can get to the gearbox. He can get to the bumper of Stevens, but he just cannot seem to make the pass. He just cannot seem to complete it. Excuse me here.
It's all right.
I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of reflux or something. I have no idea. It's actually hilarious that this always happens when I'm commentating, but it doesn't matter. We just have to get on and keep going on. Now it is the white flag lap. We're going to check on Luke Bailey here in just a moment, but first we're going to see if Ferocious Dan can in fact make this move going into turn 1. This is his last chance to do it in turn 1. He will not do it, but he is very close to Stevens. Now going to check on Luke Bailey here for just a moment. He is still out in the lead. 7 seconds now in front of Scope Builder. What has happened, Mal?
Stevens got the 3-second time penalty, so it's due make or break for 3rd place here. Now both of them are absolutely equal now. Absolutely equal terms now. Sheepy's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple runs. Ferocious Dan will be thinking, right, this is my last chance here on the last lap here. Briggsy but not Giggsy. Side by side. Top 4 holding on. He's holding on. Oh my God, we've had a 3. We've got a 3 in a bad situation here. Sheepy moves up. Just trying to see where Luke Bailey is. Luke Bailey's coming up to the final few corners here. Congratulations to Luke Bailey, who's just won the Brazilian Grand Prix. So congratulations to Luke Bailey. Fantastic stuff there. Brilliant stuff. Scope finishes in 2nd place. Stephen 3rd. Ferocious Dan 4th. This is on the edge. No.
Oh my goodness, and there was some contact with the wall there. And Steven will officially get a podium here. Apparently, Ferocious Dan had some time penalties as well. I'm going to take this moment to apologize to the viewers on Twitch who have commented on this stream. For some reason, those comments aren't loading at the moment. However, I did just get one, but good job to Luke Bailey and good job to Steven and Ferocious Dan. That was one hell of a battle.
Yeah, absolutely insane stuff there. I don't know if there was a bit of a lag going on between Steven and Ferocious Dan, like caught at the back, like a little bit of tap there, but I know Stephen would never do that, but it was just Ferocious Dan trying to get on the inside and stuff there. But like I said, what a race, what a finale there. Stephen was pouring with buckets with sweat here tonight. But Tim, final few thoughts from yourself before I know you've been told you had to shoot off straight after the race, but what's your final thoughts tonight?
Well, I just want to say, as always, good job to each and every driver out there today. It was a very clean race for the most part. There was a little bit of wreck, a little bit of carnage there, but I don't think anything happened intentionally. I don't see anything that happened as far as dirty driving goes. So good job to every driver out there, and good job to, thank you for racing with us. Congratulations to Luke Bailey, 14. Now, is this his first win in this series?
I think so, yes. I might be wrong. If I do get it wrong, I do apologise. We'll correct it next week. But I believe that's his first performance, I believe. Just have to wait and see what happens here tonight. But well done to Luke Bailey, who's proved me wrong. I said he wouldn't even get a podium, let alone a win. So fair play to him. He's proved me doubted wrong. And that's what I like about the drivers. They prove the commentators wrong and see what happens. Race classification for the Brazilian Grand Prix for the Invictus Race Leader Performance League. Luke Bailey in 1st place, congratulations to you. Schofield in 2nd place. Steven, fantastic driving. He's my driver of the day in 3rd place. Ferocious Dan in 4th. Mr. Skycy in 5th. Sheepy is in 6th on his debut race back, or returning race back. Tom 4 in 7th. Briggsy is in 8th. Saab is in 9th. Sir Spud, Mr. P, Ton Avalanche, SJD, Energy Dan, Mike all had the DNFs earlier on in the races. Saab is absolutely not happy with the race tonight. He's just absolutely not happy at all. He just does not want to remember about the Brazilian race ever again. But like I said, I'd like to thank Tim. He's got to shoot off straight after, but we'll carry on with the questions for the top 3 drivers here tonight. So, like I said, I'm going to invite Luke Bailey, O'Stephen, and Scopefielder if they've got their mics with them tonight. I hope they have. I don't know if Scope's there, but if not, I'm going to have to invite him in if he is already there. But well done to the guys here. Tim, again, thank you for joining me tonight as join me with the commentary box. I will carry on with the questions, but thank you for tonight. You've been an absolute legend, Tim.
It's been fun, Matt, and I thank you. It's been a great race. Very fun. Always fun commentating. Look forward to commentating next week.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Cheers for that. I'll see you next week, Tim. Cheers, mate. Thank you. So Tim's just shooting off for the. He has to go sort out a few stuff here. While I will do the commentary for the next bits for the questions and stuff. If you've got questions for Luke Bailey, Scope, and for O'Stephen tonight, please send them in, guys. If you're in the comments box, O'Stephen, if you do me a favour, can you invite Scope in? If you can.
Alright, I'll try.
If not, don't worry, I'll try and find him. But I'm just waiting for another one. I'm just waiting for Luke Bailey and for Scope to join in. But I'm just going to try and invite him in as quickly as possible. So Stephen. Join into the commentators box. Like I said, for the guys. So we're just waiting for some of the questions for O'Stephen, for Luke Bailey, and also for Scopefielder if they can try and get in. I have sent Scope an invite, so hopefully he'll join in soon. If not, I've not been told anything otherwise, but as far as I know, they should be here. Yeah, right. Okay, guys, for you guys that's just joined in, yeah, cheers, so Stephen. If you can, do me a favour, guys, can you make sure you got your allow voices to be shared, which is on the party settings. So if you go to the party, go to party settings. On the bottom, it says allow your voice to be shared. Make sure it's set to always allow before we start the commentary, before we start the questions stuff. So again, if you've got any questions for, if you've got any questions for, Luke Bailey, Scopefielder, and for O'Stephen, for their brilliant battles here tonight. But yeah, brilliant stuff there. But guys, are you all set and ready to go?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm ready.
Right. So what I'll do usually, guys, Tim's not with us tonight. He had to shoot off, but he will come back next week. I'm going to go start with Luke Bailey, then I'm going to talk to Scopefielder, and then I'm going to talk to O'Stephen for their magnificent performance in the podium stuff here tonight. Luke, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad. You?
Not bad. I tell you what, I said this at the start of the race, well, just before we started the race, I said I did not know whether you would hold on to get a podium stuff, let alone a win tonight, and you proved me wrong tonight. How does that feel tonight?
Yeah, always good to prove somebody wrong.
Yeah, you proved me wrong, proper stamped to say, beep off, that's it, you proved me wrong, and that's it. But how does it feel tonight to win at the Brazilian track?
Yeah, a bit of a relief. Just had a couple of races where just wing damage has been ruining races, and so yeah, it's been nice to have a bit of a clean race.
Absolutely. That's why I was a bit worried, because I know you said that's why I was worried, like when you had like those wing damages and it costs you the races. Did you at any point worried that you would have lost your first place at any point during the race?
Yeah, I had two little moments and lost a bit of time, and then I'd noticed the time were going down a bit. So I'm just trying to keep that gap as much as I can. But yeah, once we got about halfway through, it seemed to just start pulling out a bit. So I don't know if anyone had I don't know if Scope had a problem or if I just managed to keep that gap.
Well, hopefully, in a minute we'll find out from Scope what happened during the battle there. But I'm not sure what happened because you two had a ding-dong battle from the start there. But yeah, I was a bit shocked about the qualifying, as in, like, you just done it by, I think it was 300s or 500s of a second.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
But I tell you what, do you love the track in general, or was it just by fluke? Was it by luck?
No, I do like this one, and I put a lot of practice in, so I kind of thought I was up there, but when I qualified second, I thought, yeah, I've got a good chance.
Absolutely stuff. I've just been told from Sir Spud for you, Luke, that you'll be in the Williams next week. That's what I've been told. And same for you, Stephen, but we'll get to you in a minute on that one. So, blame. So Sir Spud will be. Well, I've got a question for you, Stephen, in a minute, but not until I get to the questions for me. But like I said, Luke, it's been a belt of a race tonight. Do you think you've got a good chance of trying and get a good performance now in the Performance League to try and do well in the league now?
Yeah, as long as I don't get that Williams.
I think you've been told by the admin of Sir Spud that you'll be in the Williams next week. I'm not sure. Don't worry. I don't think that's 100% true. But I'm not putting anything into that list. Sorry, Williams. on that one, on that one. But I just have to wait to see what happens next. But before tonight, you was in where was you? Oh yeah, you was in 8th place with 11 points. So you were shot up to 26 points after tonight's race. Obviously, you won't have any penalties or anything with stewards in or anything like that. So 26 points. Coming up to the final halfway point for the last race before we had to make the halfway. What's your performance so far during the league so far?
Yeah, I've been pretty happy with it. Like I said, there's just been 2 races where they've been ruined with wing damage, but apart from them, I think it's been a second, a first, and I don't know what the other position were actually now. you had 15, 12, 10. You had 4th place in Monaco, you had 10th place in France, and you had 9th place for Japanese Grand Prix. So, yeah, as you said, they were the wing ones.
So, as you said, this is why I was a bit unsure at the start, because you've been having like bad luck. That's why I wasn't sure whether you were holding on for the podium, let alone a win tonight. So I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad you just put your foot down, and you must have heard me because you shot off holding on for first place. So well done for tonight, Luke. I'm sure that's one of your best performances.
Definitely.
Was Scope worried? Was you worried of Scope during the race tonight?
At the beginning, a little bit, yeah. It took a little bit of a while to pull a gap, so I thought there were going to be battles all the way through, but yeah, it just didn't seem to go like that, so yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely insane stuff. But fair play to you, Luke. You've done like I said, you've done a magnificent drive tonight. Are you okay for a few more minutes to talk about the next race?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, Mr. Skycy has just commented for you, Luke. He said, well done to all. He says, see you in the Williams, Luke. Lol. On that one. So I'm sure you and Mr. Skycy, cough, on that one. So to be in the Williams stuff for next week. I'm not sure that's true, but don't put that in my words on that one. But would you mind holding on for a few more minutes to talk about the race? Is that all right?
Yeah,
next week.
Fine, yeah.
Nice one, mate. Well done for tonight. You did a magnificent job.
Cheers, yeah.
Scope, how you doing, mate? You all right?
I mean, there was nothing I could do about Luke, but, you know, when I race, I kind of want to win, so not great, not bad. I think I got a set wood second today. It was a lot faster, so not much I could do.
What happened at the start, if you don't mind me asking? Because it looked like you two were like side by side, and then you just managed to hold on, but then you just lost out with the pace of Luke during that race. Was it because of the start? Was it because of certain bits? What happened?
No, I don't think there was any issues at the start. I think I defended pretty well versus him, like the first couple of laps, but then he had the pace advantage and especially a faster car on the straight. So when he got like lined up for an overtake, there was like nothing I could do, and then he just paced away. So yeah, I was happy with my pace today. Disappointed it didn't give me a win, but
yeah. But look at this scope. You was in an Alfa Romeo car. You was second place. You was trying to close in, trying to catch up with Luke. That is still impressive driving. And even Mr. Sky C has just commented about that. So Scope did a mega job with his Alfa. Very impressive pace. I mean, don't get me wrong, Scope. You are proving the Performance League. You are the man to watch out for as trying to get that title. Do you think you've got a good chance of getting Mr. Sky C's title this season after that performance?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a long season between us. Like, we're good friends and we're teammates. So we're sitting in a party chat like every race here. So we have a good teamwork. So I think it's gonna be still a long season ahead. So I think it's gonna be a fight until the very last lap. Or last race, I should say.
I tell you what. You are friends now, but I bet you're not friends on track when you two battle it out. That's the old saying. Mr. Sky C says, "Give us the constructors already, lol," on that one. So to be fair, you two have been a great battle, whatever happens here. But I predicted you to get the win tonight because I thought you might just hold it on for yourself to hold on to first. But as you said, Luke Bailey did a magnificent job with the pace. Was you at any point worried of any drivers by you, or was you just trying to see if I can try and catch up to Luke, or get nearer to Luke to see if he could have had another penalty, or get a penalty at least during the pace tonight?
Yeah, at the start of the second stint, I was hoping he could get like a 3-second time penalty, because I was staying like within like 3 or around 3 seconds, and the gap really didn't move for a few laps there. But then I started to pull away towards the end, so then I knew it was over. So I just got pace and watch out behind. I saw Steven come there with new softs.
Yeah.
So I was thinking he might come close to the end. So, but I knew he wasn't gonna pass me, but I thought there was an opportunity that if I get like a 3-second penalty, that he could get within those 3 seconds. So that's what I was looking out for.
Yeah, as I said, Steven was in the softs. He was already moved up to third when he was battling out with Ferocious Dan, but he did have a 3-second time penalty on the last lap, which I'll speak to him about. I'm sure he had buckets of sweat after that when them two were having a ding-dong battle here at the end. But I think he would have. I think it was about 8-second gap between yourself and Steven, but he was already on 8 or 9 laps of the soft, so he was already at the point where he was going to be at the end of the life cycle of the tyre wear. So even if I thought he might have just got close, but I don't think he would have been overtaken. But it's just going to be manic stuff here. But from your performance this season, Scope, I mean, you had the win at Monaco, you had 4th place in France, you had 6th place in Japanese, but now you got 2nd place in Brazil. What's been how's your performance been so far this season, in your own words, so far?
I don't think I've done a single mistake this season. I've been pacing really good, but obviously it's gonna be hard to always be competitive in the Williams, because I've driven the Williams every time until this race. So yeah, I think I've done the perfect season so far. There's like there's no pace I could gain anywhere on any race. So I'm happy with my season, and hopefully it will continue.
Yeah, I hope. Like I said, I like to see the titles get to the end or the last race. Hopefully, wink, wink, cough, cough. You know, just to try and get the excitement going right up to the end of the season. But as you said, it will be a close season for yourself. But you have done like I said, you've done no mistake from what I saw. The only blip that from the last 4 races was last week, which was the Japanese Grand Prix. That's your 6th place. That's out of that's been you've had 2 podiums and 2 top 10s. Sorry, 4 top 10s, but 2 of them were podiums. So fair play to you, Scope. You've done. I knew you was a quick driver, but you are immense stuff, and I'm sure Mr. Skycy will be pouring with sweat with bucketfuls after seeing that performance as well, with the Alfa Romeo as well, and with the Williams car as well, throughout the start of the season as well. But yeah, you've done. Have to see what happens here on that one. But you've done a magnificent drive as well. But with you, Scope, would you mind holding on for a few more minutes to talk about Australia before the finale? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
Nice one, mate. Thank you very much. I have to wait and see what happens. So, Stephen, how you doing, mate? You alright?
Absolutely over the moon, Malk.
This is the very first time I've heard you, and I remembered I was talking to you just earlier on, and you said my first ever podium in Malaysia, and you didn't get the chance to speak to me during the commentary box, and you was like, I was cheesed off with that. Now you're here, you're finally here, Stephen. How does it feel? Proper feel.
Absolutely. It feels like a win for me, this, because I'm always like 6th, 7th, 8th, and today it just felt so good. The driving the Mercedes was absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant stuff. Stephen, you did a magnificent drive. You played the hard tyres all the way up to lap 22, 23 laps. Was you worried at any point that you thought, I can't go any further with the hards, otherwise you would have lost out a podium?
Yeah, just before I was debating whether or not to, instead of going on the softs for the second stint, I was going to go on the mediums just to play it safe in case. Because I've seen a few people not go the distance that it said on the strategy screen. So I just went with it instead. And by the end, it just worked out. My tyres were fine.
Yeah, I thought, can he try and hold on for 13 laps? Because people, as you said, some people were pitting way early than expected.
Yeah.
So with this, I mean, I've got a few questions from the guys here, and also from Ferocious Dan as well, who's just joined in as well. But as you said, this felt like your first ever. It felt like your first. When you get your first podium, that's where you feel stepping on now to get your first win. And once you've done that, you could capitalise and gain your first ever title, whether it's drivers or constructors. Either way, this is going to be your catalyst. Would you say this will be would you say this is the starting point now of your season now to try and get some decent points in for this season? Not only in this, but also for your confidence boost for the F3 as well.
Yeah, my confidence for tomorrow night is going through the roof at the minute. I'm just so ecstatic, but being realistic, I just hope to get more points and hopefully more podiums towards the end of the second half of the season, and then kick on next year. Absolutely.
I mean, don't get me wrong though, Stephen. As I said before, I know I'm rooting for the guys who joined Invictus, who are I don't like the word struggling, but like they're trying to get to grips. You know what I mean, with the games. Yeah. With this, you was like Captain Stiff, F1 Richard. There was so many drivers who I can name from F3 that were struggling for 3 seasons, and then all of a sudden their pace showed, and then when they got the pace running, they were faster and faster. I could see you do well, not only this season, but I think in this game, probably about in the next few seasons, I could see you doing so well. Probably get a few more podiums along the way, and maybe if we can this season, get your first ever win. We have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, I've got a few questions here as well. I mean, so Spud said you will be in the Williams next week, as well as Luke Bailey. Cough.
Oh yes.
So,
17th place for me then.
I have to wait to see what happens here. But Ferocious says, thanks for the love tap at the end, Stephen. On that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask. Because you two, that was one hell of a last lap. When you had the penalty, did you panic like hell to try and get past that lap or get to the finish line?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, Malk. I knew when I was just behind Dan, he had a 3-second time penalty. I thought, I've got full ERS. Should I overtake him or just do a cross and just stay behind him for 2 laps? Because I was way ahead of 5th. But I thought, no, I'm on a confidence high. I'll go for it. So I got past him, and then I had 2 warnings. But then on the last lap, I got a time penalty. I thought, oh no, what have I done then? Like you said, I just panicked, and coming through with that last corner, I knew Dan was right behind me, and I didn't feel a tap from him like on that last little bend. But I've seen his car behind me red, but he wasn't beside me or nothing.
Yeah.
So I would have been gutted if he'd have got past. Like, I really would have been, but there you go.
But don't get me wrong, it was just, it's exciting for me and Tim, and it was exciting for all the viewers that were watching it as well. That was nerve-wracking, but you stood out, you took out with ease, and you just thought, well, whatever happens, Ferocious Dan did had a 3-second time penalty regardless. Even if he went past you, as long as he was within 3 seconds, you would have guaranteed the podium stuff anyway. But it was nerve-wracking because I wasn't sure whether you wasn't sure whether he knew or you knew that he knew, if that makes sense, or I'm confusing myself now.
I think he knew once he saw I had a penalty, I think. Or once he probably clicked on. I wonder if he'll say that in the comments. But I think he knew because he came right back at me, because my tyres felt alright on that last lap.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think it was more me panicking rather than the tyres going off.
Yeah, absolutely. But whatever happens though, Stephen, you have driven a magnificent race. You played your strategy well. You've proved that you can get a podium, finally, at last, get a proper podium now. So I'm sure this will be a catalyst now to try and start your driver season now, because you started off with 1 point, and that was from Monaco, which was about 4 races ago. But then the last 2 races you had no points, and now you've just got your first ever podium this season. So that'll be a boost, not the chocolate boost or an energy boost, but I'm sure it should give you the energy boost of a Red Bull. Not saying you're going to get the Red Bull car, but I'm sure you'll probably get.
Oh, hopefully not. I was in it awful last week.
Just have to see what happens next time. But well done for tonight, Stephen. You did a magnificent race and played it well. Would you mind holding on for a few more minutes to talk about Australia for the finale?
Yep, no worries.
Nice one.
Thanks again.
Nice
can I just say one last thing, Mark?
Yeah, sure.
I'd like to dedicate my podium to all you staff out there in Invictus and admins and stuff for all the things that you do for us. And that's all I want to say.
Oh, thanks, Stephen. You're absolute ledge. When I say ledge, legend in the shortest terminology. But well done, mate. That's thank you very much. I'm sure all the staff that are watching will be absolutely delighted with that. So thank you very much for that, Stephen. Absolute legend, whatever happens
no
here.
Worries.
But like I said, thank you for that, Stephen. I just need some tissues at the minute for that one now. Fair play to him for that. Much respect. Ferocious Dan's just commented saying, yeah, on the last lap my engineer told me you had Stephen had a penalty, so I went for it at the end and no problem, mate. It was a good battle. Congrats on the podium. So yeah, fair play with that, with Ferocious Dan. But also, like I said, I'd like to thank the guys for their podium questions on that one, but I'm going to talk to them the usual. Well, some people would know, but people who joining in with the podium stuff for the first time, I always ask the 2 questions, and the 2 questions I'll talk about the next track for each one. So it's mainly, what are your thoughts of the track for next week, and what are your expectations? Now, when I asked the guys what are their expectations for next week, imagine if they had the same car or nearish car that they think that they might expect next week. I know that I always get that every time, like I'm not sure what car I'll get, but just imagine if you had a similarity pace car or similar car that you was on. Anyway, but I'm going to start with Luke Bailey. So next week, I think you guys are going to have to do the race 1 race in the week off. Well, it was meant to be the week off, but for next week, for the Australian one, which is race 6, what are your thoughts of Australia, and what are your expectations for next week, Luke?
It's one I seem to struggle with. It's not one of my best, to be honest. So,
Oh, okay.
But I did kind of say it for Monaco, and I put a lot of practice in and kind of got to grips with the track, so I might have to try and do the same with this one. So yeah, that's my thoughts really.
Oh, okay. So, as a guesstimate, if 17 started, would you say top 10 as your latest?
Yeah, I'd say.
Ooh.
Yeah, for sure, I'd say top 10, but I couldn't say top 3 where my past has been with that track. So
fair enough. But like I said, Luke, thanks for that. You did a magnificent job again. You've proved me wrong, so I need to stop predicting any races at all, what's going to happen next. So well done, Luke. You've proved me wrong tonight, and you did. That's what I love about the drivers. Whether they, not saying shot them down, they just shot you back up and just tell you to beep off afterwards. So well done, Luke. You did a magnificent job tonight, and wish you all the very best of luck in next week and in the remaining races in the Invictus Racing Leagues in the Performance League this season. Well done tonight.
yeah, cheers.
Like I said, Scope, usual 2 questions. What are your thoughts of Australia, and what are your expectations for next week? Now, bear in mind, as I said, just think of it as a similarity car pace. What would you expect next week?
Australia's never been one of my tracks. I think I lack pace there, so
Oh, okay.
not really looking forward to Australia, but hopefully some practice will make it better.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty obvious I'm not going to be in the Alfa Romeo next week. I'm going to be back in the Williams. Anything else would be just weird. So not a favorite track, and then also in the Williams. So
Oh, okay.
I think I gotta aim at getting like a top 6. I think that's
top 6.
about as much as I can do on that track with the Williams.
Okay, so you've heard it, guys. A top 6 guesstimate finish from Scope to try and do well based on that performance. Like I said, Scope, you've done a magnificent job, especially in the Alfa Romeo car, which I did not expect at all. But fair play to you, just did a brilliant job, and well done for second place tonight at the Brazilian track. And I wish you all the very best for next week and for the remaining races in the Invictus Race League Performance League. Well done, mate, for tonight. You did a brilliant job.
Yeah, thanks.
So, last 2 questions to Stephen. Stephen, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts of Australia, and what are your expectations for next week? Bear in mind, depending on what car you could have, just imagine there's 17 drivers. What would you expect to aim for next week?
Judging by my equal pace performance in equal league, I would suggest that I will be in the Mercedes again. Australia is like a street track for me, and that left-right chicane, the curve on it, I always seem to do bad on there, and always seem to go in the wall or retire or something.
Yeah.
But confidence-wise, I'm going to try and go for the win again.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully, my confidence is really high now after tonight's performance, or a podium at best. But you never know.
Yeah,
We'll see how it goes.
yeah. Fair play to you, mate. You did, like I said, I wish you all the very best of luck next week and the remaining races of Invictus Race Leader Performance Leagues. But like I say, well done for tonight. You did a magnificent job in the podium stuff tonight, and you played your strategy well. And I'll tell you what, he'll be the one to watch if he can keep that run going. So Spud says he'll try his best to try. He's trying to say he wants to be back into the Merc. He says he'll try his best, Mark. He's too fast. I think that was for scope, too fast or something like that. But like I said, I'd like to thank the guys for joining me tonight for the podium stuff. You're more than welcome to stay if you want to hear my final thoughts, or you can shoot off. It's up to you guys. But thank you for joining me tonight. I'm going to do my final thoughts, and I'll be shooting off with a stop the stream moment. So, well, thank you guys. Much appreciate for that. So Scope's just left the session now. But like I said, I'm going to do my final thoughts tonight of the race. Tonight. Just seeing what happens here with Dan on that one. Like I said, at the start of the race, what a frantic start of the race at the Brazilian Grand Prix. We had 17 drivers and we had 9, I think it was 9 remaining of the race tonight, and it was just an absolute. You had everything. You had like. We had two in a beds. We had a 3 in a bed situation, which I was screaming like a madman. That's what I wanted with the 3 in a bed situations here. I don't care about the racing. That's all. I just wanted the 2 in a bed, 3 in a bed situation. Nah, I'm kidding. It's just the racing. As long as there's a 3-car battle or a 2-car battle at each of the corners, I don't care. As long as we have a decent battle. Whatever happens here. There was a few incidents left, right and centre from some of the drivers that I mentioned. Now, as did say, I spotted them on some occasions, but if I did offend anyone, I do apologise if I did. But it's just how I seen it from the time, as quick as lightning, trying to think if it was right or wrong, like a VAR moment on football. Hopefully they'll try and get it right sometime in situations like these. But I tell you what, though, it was a brilliant battle. Well done to Luke Bailey, who's proved me wrong from the start, where he just said he must have heard me because he just shot off and he did well with the Ferrari car. He had a good ding-dong battle with Scope Fielder, who with second place. Luke Bailey was a bit worried at a few occasions where at the start of the race, I think it was in the first stint, but after the second stint happened, Luke Bailey was just really up for it, and he's trying to keep up, trying to get away from Scope, but Scope was like within 3 seconds at the time, so Luke Bailey was just trying everything he could to make sure he didn't get any penalties. Have to wait and see what happens here. But also well done to Scope for driving the Alfa Romeo car, which is one of the worst, I'm not saying worst cars, because Williams is the worst car in this game. But bear in mind, Alfa Romeo is not very good around like Brazil or anything like that. But fair play to him. He's driven like a brilliant driver, so he'll be the one to watch this season as well. So it'll be good times for him. But Stephen is the one who. But also, I forgot to say, Stephen is my commentator's driver of the day. Obviously, the guys will vote in on the Twitter for the drivers of the day if they do decide to put it on. But for me personally, I'm sure Tim would agree with me if he was here. He would agree with me that Stephen was the driver of the day. But he's definitely my driver of the day tonight, because he's driven. He played the strategy well. 22 laps of the hards. He was worried that the softs were going to go at any point, but as before, he's earlier than normal from the predicted tyre wear stuff. But he ignored the tyre wear situation. He's just driven like a madman, and he did well to try to get into 3rd place on his first. I think that was your first ever podium, isn't it, Stephen? Your first ever podium. Oh, Steve.
No, Malaysia a couple of seasons ago. Where you weren't here.
Sorry, it was the. I mean, like as if the performance was at the F3.
Oh yes, yes, yeah.
So it's his. So Steve, thanks, Steve. It was his first ever podium of the Performance League, but he did get a podium in the F3 League a few seasons ago. But this is his first ever podium in the Performance League, first podium this season. If he can keep that momentum going, I'm sure he'll do well to move up to the leagues in the mid-table, or probably in the top half as quickly as possible. But well done to us, Stephen, did a magnificent job. So well done to the guys, and it's been a cracker. I'm sure Tim would have said the exact same words as what I said, but it was a cracker of a race. I'd like to thank everyone that was watching the stream. I'd like to thank everyone that was on the comments box, that was joining the session. I'd like to thank everyone from the podium guys here. I'm sure Tim would agree. I'd like to thank Tim also for joining me in the commentary box this evening. He did apologise that he couldn't do the questions with me, probably later on, because he had to shoot off straight away. But I'd like to thank everyone else. But always remember, always remember, stay classy. I'll see you later, guys. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you all next week at the glorious race of the Australian track. Bye bye.